And once again, we are live. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're listening to us on a podcast or maybe you are watching on YouTube, today I am joined by the lovely Chris. Chris, how are you doing?
Hi, Davina. I'm doing well. How are you?
Very well. Now, I want just to jump straight in because we only have a short amount of time here. Can you tell us a little bit about your background, how life was before you were initiated? And then after, now this is something a little bit interesting because you were initiated when you were very young. So I'm really interested to see your life experience before and after, if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. And I will say this, just starting off, it's like, I feel like I'm reached success, but to me, it's like a starting point. It's like the sky's the limit. So when I was a kid, I started meditating around 14 or something. My dad had showed me some stuff about that. I grew up in a Christian household, but I was always like, there are too many questions that weren't answered. And I was like, there's got to be more. And then you get depressed teenager, you get bitter, and then you like feeling inadequate in the world, and ultimately, lead to use of drugs at an early age to escape, but also like try to maybe find the spiritual experience that was talked about in the Bible, or in my case, told me that that was reality. So I was like, but it never, and then eventually I got into psychedelics and it was like, oh, wow, shiny. So it helped me realize maybe that there was more out there, but it's like there's no sustained growth. It was like, oh, there's this cool bright colors in front of me, but um, so in my heart there was this yearning. It was like I wasn't sure, but like God was totally that. I thought that God existed, but I thought he'd like left the planet. He was like, oh, I'll see you guys later. But I was like, has to be more. Now that I have this sense that like maybe God is more a bigger thing than I thought. And then I was also starting to ask myself questions like, well, if I take myself, like my arm away, am I still Chris? If I take my body away, am I still Chris? So that was like that essence, like, oh, well, I have an essence, I have a spirit, and I'm more, and maybe I'm God. I don't know. And then so there was a yearning for more, and then I ultimately, uh, when I went to college, still kind of in the drug scene, but like transitioning, I was like, it's not sustainable. I like meditation, but I don't know. I don't just want to. I thought maybe, oh, I could meditate 8 hours a day, but I was like, so I got into Eastern philosophy and stuff in college, and that was cool, but it just felt like, well, that's over there, and that's East, and that's India, and I'm sure there's truth to it, but it doesn't feel like it's for me. And I met a friend. They were studying Universal Kabbalah with the Modern Mystery School, and they talk about magic, and I was like, wait, so like Hogwarts is real? And so I was looked in my heart. I was like, there needs to be a path, and I'd done some yoga, which was lineage based, so it gave me a concept of like, oh, someone's walked this path before. There has to be people that have like walked back to their power, to godhood, to divinity, success in life that's not just wondering, oh, well, I think, and so that gave me that, but it was still Eastern and it wasn't for me. So I was like, I'm going to give this a go. My friend told me about life activation, and I was like, it's my birthday month. I'll give myself this gift. I got activated, and all those things that I wanted to change in my life that it just felt like I couldn't. It was like, there's like this block. Everything just kind of started shifting naturally. My relationships, I was able to like let go of some of those attachments to drugs and alcohol, and then I got initiated. I did like a little intro class, and I did a ritual we get, and instantly my cat started like rolling around. It was like, wow, that was instant. So, and I wasn't even sure I believed what I was doing. so yeah, so ultimately it was like it provided me these tools and this structure for me to start building my life, because it's all like, oh, screw the system, I'm going to find my own way. But then there's like this I can't reinvent the wheel. And there's this thing here that's literally just easy peasy, and I do it and it works. So, but it took me a while to figure out. It's like I loved it, but it took me a while.
So it's so interesting because I can relate, being like when I was younger, I didn't have your insight or wisdom to actually go and, try and find somewhere sooner. So, but what I noticed is that I was so anti-structure and so anti anything that somebody, suggested, that I kind of ended up making a deeper hole of my, of my life, and so can you tell us, for all those people out there that are the younger generations, and maybe you've got an idea of what structure or authority or the path might be, what is it giving you now? What has it done for you?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I was there. I was like in high school drawing anarchist signs, being like, ugh. But it's like as I grew, I realized it came from a place of resistance to something. So it's like, well, this structure doesn't work. Like the world I'm living in, the world that the thoughts that I have, the way I've created my reality, that's not working. But so the tools and the structure is it's like it's saying, well, here's some tools like rituals, meditation, whatever. But and then it's also like you are the creator of your own reality. So instead of resisting, what do you want to be for? And that's scary. That's daunting. You're like, well, I have now it's my responsibility because when you're resisting structure, it's like, well, screw that. But it comes from a place of like you want to change. Most people are good. Everyone, I would say everyone's good at heart, but sometimes, and we all have good intentions, but it can get skewed, and then you just are fighting something your whole life, but and then you're not creating anything for yourself in your life. And so now it just keeps pushing me like to like refocus, like, no, don't think about what you don't want. What do you want? So, oh, I don't like the president. I don't like the government. I don't like this and that. It's like, well, okay, now I have some tools, bring in some divine energy and connect with my own power to really like be like, well, I'm going to create the structure that supports my life. It's okay to have a schedule because I can create my schedule, or there's always a choice. And that to me is what the structure is about realizing the choices that will support me moving forward into the life that I want to create instead of thinking about what I don't like and what I'm resisting.
And what does your life look like now then as an initiate? Give us a little bit of a day to day, what does it look like now?
Well, day to day, I wake up and do my rituals because if I don't, I'm just gonna all of a sudden feel like it's kind of like brushing your teeth or something. You're like, you can go a day, but then you're like, something's not right. It's just harder. It makes your day harder. But yeah, I mean, I'm starting a job now that's going to give me opportunity to make the most money I've ever made in my life. I'm starting a at the beginning stages of a relationship that could turn into something pretty deep and long term. And it's like so healthy, it's scary. It's like, whoa. So it's just and so it just shows you that like I've been able to grow with this path where things that are like normally considered hard or should be hard, it's like can move through with grace. So like, I mean, this job I'm doing is door to door solar sales. It's scary to talk to people, and just knock on their door, but and then like realizing, hey, look, they're human. I'm here to provide them value as well, and I'm valuable. So, and those are things that everyday mindsets. Most of the time, people are stuck in thoughts like, and I was even, oh, I'm not worthy, or like, oh, I don't like money. It's like I like money. I like to dress nice. I like, so it's like I was resisting things because I wanted to change the world, but instead of trying to burn it all down, I'm like, well, I can actually use this to work for me. And now I'm like building a life that I like. And it's just like the beginning. I don't even know what the future holds for me, but it's really exciting. And I'm using the Universal Kabbalah system now, ascending the tree of life, um, which is all about like tangible results in your life. And so I'm really enjoying that process.
I love that, because why I ask is because sometimes people think when you have a spiritual practice or that you're studying magic, that it's something so far removed from our daily lives. Yet you're a perfect example of how you're applying it in your everyday life to create what it is that you want in your life. And I think this is key, especially for for the younger generation who might think that, that kind of stuff is for the older generation, or that kind of thing. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, totally. I mean, my life now is just so much better, and I couldn't ask for more by continuing to study with this school, because it's about every time I was wanting to move away from like structure again and like be like, oh, I'm gonna go like a more new agey or whatever, like I just go with the flow, man. And it's like it never was leading me anywhere, and I was like, I actually want tangible, real results in my life. And once I got serious and was like, okay, I'm actually going to give this my all, my 100%, it just kept giving back to me and more. So I'm like, well, I got to keep going.
Thank you so much. We have whizzed past the 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and that was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing
Thank
your
you so
story.
much.
I know it's going to
My
inspire a
pleasure.
lot of people, and I hope it reaches many, many, many of the younger generations, because I certainly wish I'd have had this at a much younger age, that's for sure. But well done, and I hope you get to speak very soon.
Thank you. Me too. Have a
Take
good
care, everyone. Goodbye for now.
day. Bye.